Tom, thanks so much for being with us.
I'm pleased for the opportunity.
We appreciate your insight as well, because you had the job of managing this whole scenario. First, I want to start out. You're the one who oversaw this marathon. You had been doing so a few years prior to it and many years after. Let's start by talking about the preparations on that day, a preparation you've done years before to get ready for the marathon, to prepare for any type of circumstance. How did that help when the bombings went off?
The preparations that went into that year, which started long before, made all the difference. Boston Strong was really Boston prepared. For us at the Boston Athletic Association, much of what we do is prepare for runners and what they will do. We manage everything that's kind of inside the curbstones. Beyond that, we collaborate with and do all we can to be of assistance to all manner of public safety agencies, public health agencies, and the hospitals that surround the Boston Marathon finish area. In 2013, when the explosions occurred, all of the public agencies and all of the hospitals were ready for it. And they were ready for it because they had been preparing and rehearsing for literally years. For the 2 years preceding 2013, in 2011 and 2012, there had been two 24-hour exercises conducted under the federal Urban Shield program, such that all agencies and all hospitals got involved in rehearsing what looked like a live fire exercise to prepare for terrorists, for explosions, for gas, for fire, for whatever might happen, and to prepare for what would be done, most importantly, for injured people in the event that some of these things happened. So the level of preparation was enormous. Everybody knew what they would do and had a plan for achieving it.
But what type of preparations, new preparations, were put in place because you did experience that mass casualty event?
Well, in the area of preparing for casualties, there wasn't a whole lot of change to that because it worked so well on that day in 2013, when we had only 16 ambulances at the finish line. Within moments of the explosion, there were 73 ambulances, such that the 30 most injured people were in a hospital room within 18 minutes, and all the most injured people were in a hospital room within 47 minutes. That worked well. 2014, what was enormously different was planning for trouble, watching out for terror, for copycats, for others who would come along to wreak whatever havoc they could. I can remember the planning out at Raytheon with federal agencies, the vehicles in that year which would detect where a bullet might come from and could even shoot back if necessary, the kinds of things that were then being used in theaters of war overseas. So it was security against attack that really ramped up, because the 6 level 1 trauma centers plus the other hospitals that got involved, they were ready. Boston EMS, with all the communications with police, fire, they were ready. They knew how to do it if something had happened. The extra security measures helped to make sure that nothing did happen. I was where I had been all day, where I had been for the preceding 34 years, being the finish line announcer, which was very close to where the first explosion occurred. I had just gone inside the Copley Plaza Hotel just to check on preparations for the awards ceremony, to make sure that was all in good order, as I would often do late in the day. And we were well into the race at that point. I did that, and as I went to leave, somebody stopped me and said, "I hate to be the one to tell you this, but here's what just happened." And I was then not allowed to go back out into Copley Square, so I had to set up a kind of a command center in the hospital. And people say to me, what did you do? Well, at that point, there wasn't much that I could do. All the work was taking place out on the street, saving lives. Within the B.A.A., we had a very small set of written protocols for decision-making under stress, which boil down to, if something happens near where you are, number one, to whom do you have the greatest obligation at that moment? Number two, what can you control? And try not to be too distracted by what you can't. And then do whatever you think is right.